This one is called The Pants. Take 8.
Yoga. Woo!
Welcome to Funniest Thing with Daryl and Ed, the best-looking guys on the radio. We all know the funniest things happen when we stop taking ourselves too
forgot we
seriously
could talk,
and
Ed.
step out boldly,
Yeah.
like Mr. Magoo blindly stepping onto
feel
the
great
next
today.
swinging
You
girder
look
and
good,
falling
too.
into an outrageous
Thank you.
jackpot. Your hosts, Daryl and Ed, are about to administer a refreshing
What
dose
was that,
of
Ed?
laughter and love that will inspire you to step out boldly and
just love this
experience
show
the
so
funniest
much.
things.
I could see it in your
now,
face.
here are your hosts, Daryl and Ed.
You got me.
Welcome to Funniest Thing, where each week we share stories about how stepping out boldly always leads to better than expected outcomes.
Yes.
I'm Daryl,
And I'm Ed.
and this is actually a coast-to-coast episode of Funniest Thing. Because
That's right.
I'm broadcasting live from middle school studios in downtown
I'm
Culver
broad-
City, the Cardiff Screeland,
That's
Ed.
right. I'm broadcasting from the Donut Shop Studios in Colony, New York. I'm waiting.
And today's episode is Let's Go to a Wide Shot.
Yes. Let's go to a wide shot. Trusting that God is always on our side enables us to view our circumstances from a higher perspective and discover evidence that everything works together for our good. And during the second segment, Funniest Thing fan and Hairwick master Noel Bax drops by to read and discuss today's daily word, which is curiosity.
I like the way you close your eyes when you talk, when you speak.
Well, I feel more soulful, so I'm like Joel, like your friend Joel Osteen. I like to close my eyes and just feel the goodness of the Holy Spirit.
Well, it's working. And
Well, thank you.
Speaking of Holy Spirits,
Yes,
we have a funniest thing just from this morning. Speaking of Joel Osteen,
that's right. That's right. See,
nothing happens by mistake.
No, it does not.
Before, earlier in the morning when I was getting ready, I go, let me throw in some positive radio, and I thought I'd throw on Joel Osteen
Yes.
on Sirius FM or wherever he's located.
Right.
And instead of it being one of his talks, it was some live show where they answer, you know what I mean? You have callers. So,
No, be honest. Who was on it that day?
no, it was today. It was the
I know, but who was on it?
It was-
wasn't just a live show. It was his wife.
It was Victoria Olstein Live, which is fine. I'm just not into the phone calls. I like the message. So I shifted gears, go with the flow. Don't get upset, So I go with the flow and I go, boom. I pop on Discovering Eric Butterworth, which is one of our Unity FM radio programs in the archives now, which both of us recommend.
Yes, we do.
And I just happened to roll the dice and turn on one called The Laughter of God. And Eric Butterworth said two things that actually coincide perfectly with today's show. And I called you and I told you. And one was, and I jotted them down so I wouldn't forget, is
thank goodness.
humor is a high-level approach to life's experiences. And since today's show is all about getting a better perspective of your situation, I thought
higher
that
perspective.
a much higher perspective when we start thinking in agreement with God thoughts. God's a positive God. There's nothing negative about God. So when we're
Right.
thinking positive, we start to feel better and we start to see things from a much better perspective.
And that really means that life is a positive life.
Yes.
And that's the whole essence of getting in with the flow of this stuff.
And he also referred to a Bible verse. He said, the psalmist says, he who sits in the heavens laughs. And he made it clear that that's talking about us. When we get that higher perspective,
Yes.
we can almost laugh at some of our foibles and everything. The things we think were so insurmountable seem to shrink down to their proper perspective.
Oh, you're not kidding. I mean, I'm in New York right now, and this whole thing has been stepping out boldly. I've met Kurt, whose house I'm in, about 18 months ago at a wedding of a friend. And lo and behold, last summer at the same time, I did a show from here. I think we had Laura Harvey on as a guest that time. But I came out here and recorded 10 songs with our band Coconut Donut, and now I'm back again to do some more recording, and it's great because I get to see family while I'm here. But when I got on the plane last night, I felt so overwhelmed at first. Like, why am I even coming here? Because it's such like a one of these stepping out boldly. Like, I don't really know where it's all going. Like, how did this even happen? So so that those fears started coming up, and it started everything around me. And for a moment, it was tempting for everything to start looking scary. I started to feel kind of lonely. But thankfully, I knew the show was coming up, and I had the books, and I even talked to you on my layover, and I did some prep for the show, and I just got into a much higher perspective, and I just kept thinking, like, it's up to me to keep directing my mind in a positive direction. And now it's like, this was like an opportunity to practice because my mind didn't necessarily want to go in a positive direction. But as I kept doing that, man, everything just went so smooth. I realized this morning when I woke up, I did my morning routine, and while I was meditating, I really felt the truth of that saying from the Bible that I am in the world and not of it. I'm not here to reflect whatever might be, like, I'm not here to mimic what's going on around me. I'm here to be a light. I'm here to inspire the people around me by staying inspired and by keeping a higher perspective, or like that psalmist said, what was it? By being in heaven or something? What was the way
he
was sitting in heaven.
He who sits in heaven laughs.
Yeah, and sitting in heaven, really the truth is, who I really am is in heaven. I'm like a visitor on this planet from heaven. So when I sit, like Daryl and I talk about do my morning routine, that is sitting in heaven. And it's true. Daryl and I laugh our asses off when we feel that heaven. Like, we laugh at ourselves at the crazy stuff we think. And now I'm having the best time. And it's all because of, I like what they said, curiosity. I just had to have the curiosity to explore the possibility that everything is going very well.
True.
And this leads me to my breaths. This is the first time ever Daryl's going to start the breaths, because he came up with this most delightful formula, this most heavenly mantra for what we can say to ourselves and to help us remember what to do when we start to feel
like poo.
Exactly.
Right.
And this really helped me on my trip. So
should I let them know what it is first so the listeners at home can join in?
Oh, yeah, because this was like the same way, what's his name that made that statue, David? You had to chip away at this to really get this to right where it
I had to chip away at everything that was not David to get to the David.
That's right. All right, so tell them what it is.
Okay, so you could join us in this one, and it's a great one for any time you feel this way, and it's, when I start to feel like poo, I seek a God's eye view.
How about I take a God's eye view?
I take a God's eye view. I take a God's eye view. Yeah, that's better than seek. Ugh.
All right.
Okay, you ready?
All right, forget it. I'm changing my plan. I gotta go first. This one's too good.
Okay.
All right, let's take a breath to clear our mind. When I start to feel like poo, I take a God's eye view.
When I start to feel like poo, I take a God's eye view.
When
I start to feel like poo, I take a God's eye view.
Very nice.
Well, humor really is the higher perspective. And
Yes, for those of you, by the way, who are watching on YouTube, and those of you who aren't, I recommend that you go to darylned.com to watch on YouTube. You'll find out that we have used Hollywood magic.
Yes, we have.
I'm actually appearing in studio with Daryl, even though I'm sitting in New York.
That's right. Even though Ed currently is now in Colony, New York, through the use of Hollywood magic here in the heart of Screenland, we actually have him. It appears like you're right in the studio with me. It feels like you're right next to me.
It's akin to that hologram stuff that they did with Tupac Shakur and all those artists to get him up on stage.
Yeah.
This is amazing. You're not going to want to miss this.
No, the only difference is Ed's still alive.
That's right.
Wait, I was going to say humor is the best way to knock ourselves if we're feeling grumpy or frustrated.
Yes.
But we have to be willing to take our mental hands off the control, the controllers. And it's always good to, have a friend to point and laugh at us. And
Like your guru or your wife.
Or your wife. Because recently I was grumbling about something. And I can't even remember what it was because what she did snapped me right out of it. I was grumbling about something, and this was about 6 months ago, and there was another one just recently. But 6 months ago, she goes, you're a joyous soul in an ogre suit. And I was dying. But you know what? That's the truth about all of us.
Yes.
Because all like our frustration and our complaining and our impatience, that's really just our ogre suit. It's just surface garbage. It's not the real me or the real you. The real
goes back. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say the real us is a joyous soul. And when sometimes, we lose our connection with that at any moment during the day and we lift up and then we're in our ogre suit.
That's right. And I was going to say that's why we chose the title, Take a Wider. Let's go to a wide shot. Daryl used to what the hell was your title over at that station? I always forget.
Yeah, I was actually producer of the local edition spots for CNN Headline News here in Los Angeles. And what
go ahead.
No, I was going to say what we would do is if we just shot tight shots, like the director decides what shots the audience will see in order to get a clear perspective of what's going on. So what we do all the time, like we can't just do close-ups even in a movie because if you were watching, you'd have no idea what the setting is. What is this? What does this mean? Right? So we would always, it's either called, let's go to a wide shot. So then the scene can breathe, the audience can settle in and see the big picture.
Yes, and that's exactly what this show is about, is remembering the true context that another way to look at the ogre, the joyous soul in an ogre idea is sometimes I tell myself I'm surrounded by angels. I'm surrounded by angels because that's the truth. Like just like the joyous soul. Like when I was at that airport, if I look at it through one lens, it could seem like all these like kind of stone cold faces just going from one place to the other. But if I remember that behind all of those faces are joyous souls or angels, it really puts it in the proper context.
Well, you know what? That's the choice between how are you looking at the world. And this actually comes from a Louise Hay book. I'm not sure which one. And she says you got to ask yourself, how are you viewing the world? Are you someone that says people are always out to get me? Or are you someone who says everybody is so helpful?
Yes. And the thing is, the choice between those two, it's not just like good or bad or right, or it's about the quality of experience that we get to have by choosing which lens we're going to look at. And I have, what do you got there? Oh, yeah. If you're on YouTube, you can see an illustration of a joyous soul in an ogre suit that Daryl put in one of his books, which is fantastic. And reading, what are we going to say?
I was going to say, I draw these things so they get cemented in my mind. She also, so I don't forget them, take notes. But she also said this just the other day. I was probably grumbling. I can't even remember what because she snaps me out of it with these phrases.
Yes.
And I was grumbling about something. She goes, "You're a meaner." And I knew she was like, her mind got short-circuited. She didn't really mean to say meaner. So I was going to try to like call her on it. I said, you just said meaner. What's a meaner? And she goes, "It's a mean wiener." And then I just lost it. I was dying of laughter and snapped. That brings you right back to the joyous soul. The ogre suit immediately comes off and it's like, what was I can't even tell you today what was upsetting me on either one of those days.
Well, it goes with the title of your book. What if Godzilla just wanted a hug? And everyone
that
has their Godzilla face on just needs a hug or a tickle. And it's amazing what can come out of it. Their whole demeanor will change.
Yeah.
Because when we don't buy in, this is another thing. When we don't, it's one thing to not buy into my own negative stories, but I'm learning also I don't have to buy into anyone else's negative stories either, because if they're not true for me, that means they're not true for anyone.
Yes, and you have to be willing to let go of your ogre suit. And I've also discovered some people just don't want to let go of their ogre suit. And it's not my job to snap them out, to tear them out of their ogre suit either. I just have to realize, you know what? They don't want this right now. And I move on to the next, to the next person. I don't need to try
in
to.
In fact, laughing at the ogre suit is one of the best ways. Because a lot of times then we start beating ourselves. We become an ogre to our ogre suit instead of just laughing at the fact that we all put on. I know for myself, I've had to learn to laugh and acknowledge that, sometimes I put on an ogre suit, because the tendency in the spiritual world is to start thinking, in my life has been, I start thinking, I never put on an ogre suit. No. But the truth is, the spiritual path has allowed me to laugh at the fact that I do wear an ogre suit sometimes.
Or one of our listeners who's been writing us a lot and who's going to be a guest up soon, Christine Rabone, even she shared once with us how, she was getting into this, all these spiritual ideas. And the tendency sometimes is to become very serious about being spiritual.
Yeah. It's funny because you even just said her name. Like, you made it very Italian. I don't think that's, you said, hey, Christina Rabone. Rabone. I'm not sure that's what it is, but yes.
Well, on this show, if we get your name wrong, it's a compliment.
Yeah, she is yogaintheworkplace.com. We'll throw that in just so people can find out her real name. And let's do this reading, which is from A New Day.
Oh, this is
all
great.
Of our readings are at darylanded.com. If you need, if you go there and go to the reading list, you will find a link where you can purchase these books. Or if you go to the show scripts or the script page, or what's it called, show scripts?
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, you'll see everything from today's show. You won't even have to get the books.
Nice. All right, so I always say to myself, this is from A New Day, July 18th. I always say to myself, what is the most important thing we can think about at this extraordinary moment? That's from R. Buckminster Fuller. There are times when life seems much more fulfilling and exciting than usual. Conversations with other people are interesting almost without exception. We are stimulated by sights, sounds, and events that at other times have seemed completely mundane. The difference is not in the interactions or occurrences, but in the level of our enthusiasm. When we are enthusiastic, our minds are unclouded and our vision is clearly focused. We are better able to absorb and understand and appreciate what is going on around us. There's always something new to explore and enjoy. At home or at work, our enthusiasm brings about deeper appreciation for family and friends. We listen to their ideas and opinions in an entirely different way. When we are optimistic, we express positive energy that is often contagious. Our enthusiasm can not only transform ordinary goings-on into richly rewarding experiences, but can also bring about a similar attitude in those around us. If we can remain enthusiastic today, we will be alert and open to pleasures we might otherwise miss. As we respond enthusiastically to this day, so will we derive joy and satisfaction as it unfolds. And the thought for today is, when I am enthusiastic, there is always something new to explore and enjoy. And that takes us to the break, Daryl. So when we get back, we can hear a couple more readings in the next segment. We got a lot of good stuff coming up, including Funniest Thing fan Noel Bax dropping by to read and discuss today's daily word, curiosity. So thank you for listening to Funniest Thing on Unity Online Radio.
What is called the pants? Take 8.
Yoga. Woo!
All right, everybody. We're Daryl and Ed. This is a special episode of Funniest Thing, and it's an emergency. We had to talk about a very, very important topic.
Yes. We felt compelled to share this emergency message with our fans and viewers of Funniest Thing with Daryl and Ed.
It's become apparent that many people in the spiritual community have gotten confused about one thing.
The word comfort.
Comfort is a good thing.
Yes!
Yes. Just now we were having lunch at a local diner, S&W.
In downtown Culver City, the heart of Screenland.
And our wonderful, beautiful friend Malika was talking to us about the show. We were telling her about all the great things, the Postal Pitbull, Gabby. We were talking about Mr. French.
That's right.
And then we sung
the song about Jeff Comfort taking us into the comfort zone.
Yes, because each week
He takes us right into the comfort zone. Yes. And so
immediately
she went,
she went. But isn't that a bad thing to be in your comfort zone? Don't you want to be out of your comfort zone?
wah, wah, wah. And we know, first of all, in some cases, what people mean by comfort and wanting to be out of.
Do you guys want to talk while he was playing?
Yeah, we could talk. So if you were listening on YouTube, you could actually watch that YouTube video that came in as a emergency broadcasting announcement on our YouTube channel, which you can find at darylanded.com, which I'm sure you could find because you're watching this YouTube episode right now. What's Ed doing? Is Ed going to talk? You could
Our
talk.
YouTube viewers,
So I'm gonna play a
YouTube
30
viewers could be listening to that.
Play like this 30-second ad after this, and then we'll go back.
There's
Okay.
So listen, when we come back, daily
Yes.
reflections.
Yeah, you want to read that?
Yes, and it's
Okay,
also good to bring up the set aside.
Don't you need to bring Noel Bax on right now?
Yeah, are you gonna call him?
Yeah, is he on Skype?
Can you Skype him?
Is he?
Yeah, he has Skype.
Yeah.
If you got.
See what's going on here.
Oh,
There
we
he
could.
is. He's
Wow,
here.
we could do a 3-piece.
What's a 3-piece?
Look, I could see 4 viewings.
Nice.
Oh, look, he shot himself. Oh, good, he's there. Can you see us?
Look at all these people.
Yeah, you gotta turn the audio down in the background or something, though.
What do I gotta turn?
Noel does.
Oh, I'll turn it off. Yeah.
Turn.
Listening to the show, but it's off.
Well, are you excited?
I'm always excited. Look at Ed.
Yeah, I know. He's in New York, but we used movie magic music. We used.
I looked on YouTube to see this, to see the Tupac version of Ed. But
Oh, it's not up yet.
No, yeah. I know.
But this is it. You're seeing it now.
I know. I'm seeing into the future.
It's amazing.
Unbelievable.
So we're just gonna do our. No, I'm just gonna read something from Daily Reflections
Cool. Great book.
and refer to the set aside prayer.
I don't know that one.
Well,
But
you're gonna hear it in 2 seconds. Actually, it was on our Facebook fan page today.
Oh, cool.
It says, God, right? Please, God, take away everything I think I know, and you fill in the blank about this situation or person, before you go see him or whatever, for an open mind and a new experience.
All right, here we go.
Oh, we're coming back, Ed.
All right.
You're listening to Funniest Thing with Daryl and Ed, the best looking guys on the radio. If you have a question or comment about today's show, or if you'd like to join in the discussion, friend us on Facebook at Funniest Thing with Daryl and Ed, or email us at funniestthing@unityonlineradio.org. Now, back to Funniest Thing.
All right. Welcome back to Funniest Thing. Today's show is called Let's Go to a Wide Shot. That's some Hollywood magic terms that only Daryl Pizarro could know. But today we're talking about stepping back. Whenever our mind starts to get too narrow of a shot and starts to think that life is scary or hard or troublesome, getting a wider shot and realizing that we are completely taken care of, that life is always flowing in a positive direction. And then when we lead by example, that is, we are the first ones that start to see it for ourselves and remind ourselves that that's what's true. Everything else starts to reflect it back to us.
Yes, go wide.
Go wide, son.
So before we went to the break, we read something really great from A New Day. And like we mentioned, all our readings you could find and our books and everything, even the readings from today's show, are at darylanded.com. This other reading comes from a book called Daily Reflections, which is an Alcoholics Anonymous publication, but it's great for non-alcoholics too. And it's from June 10th, and it says, "Impatient? Try levitating." Impatience with other people is one of my principal failings. Following a slow car in a no passing lane or waiting in a restaurant for the check drives me to distraction. Before I give God a chance to slow me down, I explode, and that's what I call being quicker than God. That repeated experience gave me an idea. I thought if I could look down on these events from God's point of view, I might better control my feelings and behavior. I tried it, and when I encountered the next slow driver, I levitated and looked down on the other car and upon myself. I saw an elderly couple driving along, happily chatting about their grandchildren. They were followed by me, bug-eyed and red of face, who had no time scheduled to meet anyway. I looked so silly that I dropped back into reality and slowed down. Seeing things from God's angle of vision can be very relaxing. And another thing that helps me when I'm starting to feel myself get impatient is I remind myself that God's in charge and everything's in divine order. You know what I mean? If traffic seems to be going slow, I just remind myself, you know what? God is scheduling a divine appointment for me. I was just talking to a friend of mine named Mark yesterday. He was saying, well, I just hope work doesn't call, but they'll probably call. And I'll go, why? He goes, I hate my job. I don't want to go in. So I reminded him of jobs that I had that were bread and butter jobs. And I said, well, you know, two things. One, just always bring value. You look at it as an opportunity to be an ambassador of God's love, you know what I mean, with the customers and have a good time. And I said, but most of all, remember that if you get called into work today, nothing happens in God's world by mistake, and it means that there's a divine appointment for you. You don't know if it's going to be a casual aside you have with a busboy that you don't really think much of, but it actually contributes very positively to that busboy's life and his family because you were there and just said one sentence that was enough to lift his spirit a little bit. Or you might meet somebody unexpectedly in the parking lot on your way to your work as you're putting your apron around your waist when someone bumps into you that you haven't seen in a long time, and it's the next big opportunity in your life. And when he started looking at it like that, just like when I'm reminded to look at the ordinary with this new extraordinary view, I start becoming enthusiastic. And like the reading was in the first segment, all of a sudden, what once seemed frustrating, now I'm feeling very buoyant and enthusiastic about.
Yes, exactly. And it's that feeling of feeling good. Like the other day, so I heard these questions from Gay Hendricks. I don't even really need to read them, but the essence of it was to ask yourself, am I willing to increase the amount of time that I feel good? Because that's what that's what makes everything we talk about on the show. Like the real question, that's the real question. Am I willing to just feel better all the time? Because when we feel better and shift our focus into alignment with God and in the ways that Daryl just described, because those are so real. All we got to do is show up, and our presence. There's a great, on page 530 of the Science of Mind, there's a great prayer that says the power within me silently blesses all. We've read it before. Maybe we could put it in the show. I can send it to Daryl. We'll put it in the show script page. But that is the greatest reminder. All we got to do is show up and allow the power within us to silently bless it all.
Yes.
It's all the stuff that we're making up and doing that is getting, if it's getting in the way, that's what's getting in the way. There's nothing else that can ever get in the way.
This is great. I got to say one thing before we thank all our listeners. When we say, think of the situation you're going to, the joy of living is in the giving. And when we say, always bring value to the situation, we don't necessarily mean think of having to lift something or do something extraordinary. No. We mean just bring the thought that the fact that you're willing to show up to this scheduled situation, that
Yes.
the love and life and exuberance of God and healing power is flowing through you into that situation. That
Yes.
starts to lift my mood. That starts to make me
Yes.
feel enthusiastic. And just by that alone, that lift in
Yeah.
consciousness, I start attracting wonderful situations in
Yeah.
a seemingly ordinary routine situation.
That's right. And a friend of mine gave me a great phrase that to say if you want to, your mind's telling you all this stuff and it's like old thoughts and it's old memories. Just say to yourself, that's interesting. That's how I used to be. Just say that's how I used to be. Just by saying that, it's like at least it gives like some reason why it's happening, and you could just let it go and get back into the flow.
Well,
All right.
thanks for not pointing out that I was actually doing air quotes while I was in that crazy monologue I just did. So if people are on YouTube, they're going to see me doing air
Oh,
quotes.
dude, you're the king of air quotes.
Well,
Don't
you know,
be
it
afraid
just
of
gives
that.
it gives people something else to point and laugh at Fazaro about, which makes me feel better.
Can you put your arms around that cardboard and make me do an air guitar? Because I do air guitar while you do air quotes. Okay, so let's thank our listeners. And we just found out something amazing on Facebook about our listeners. Tell them what it is, Daryl.
Well, I want to thank all of you because you're, for sharing our show with your friends, because we discovered that our listenership has grown. And just today, we discovered on Facebook, on our Facebook page, we have fans now from 31 different countries.
Yes.
And nearly all 50 states. So
That
we are,
is amazing.
oh my God. And we also, here's something new, a new way of looking at our show. If you really like our show and you think one of your friends would enjoy it, but it's hard to get them to get online and find us, a fun thing to do is you could download our show from either Unity online radio or iTunes and burn it onto a CD and give them your favorite episode of Funniest Thing with Daryl and Ed as a birthday gift, a Christmas gift, an anniversary gift, or just a gift for being your friend.
That's it. Dude, that is it. It's if you have a cassette tape, record it onto there like we used to do. All right. So let's thank our Twitter fans. We know them. Shockley Events Management, pretty much. So thank you.
Wait, speaking of Shockley, we've got to thank a very special Shockley.
No, let's.
Oh, it's coming up. Okay.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Quiet.
Oh, you're very excited. I like that. But let's take a moment to thank someone who looks like a combination of who was it? Kevin Costner
and Major Healy from I Dream of Jeannie
and Buckminster Fuller. That is the chief engineer at Unity Online Radio, Mr. Jeff Comfort, because each week he takes us
right into the comfort zone. Yeah. Woo!
Yeah. All right. We always got to give a shout out to the prayer line, which is 800 now pray or 800-669-7729. If you call the prayer line, if you want to get take a wide shot on your life, that is a quick and easy way. You can get the free app from the App Store, which is the letter U, pray, and you can even type your prayers in. But man, they'll pray with you. Even listening to the recorded prayer while you're on hold will help you get a wide shot. Yes. And it works. It really, really works.
It works. I had a migraine this Saturday that I thought was the migraine to end all migraines.
Yeah.
And funniest thing, my neighbor was away for the day and they were in a situation where their dog was going nuts because of the thunder. So yes. My wife said, why don't you go over there and lay down in their house and babysit the dog? So nice. I was thinking when this was all over, I sent in a prayer to the You Pray app, for, help me with this prayer. Help me with relieve this. And it ended up, I was willing to, it gave me something to do that made me feel good about myself, that helped lift my negative thoughts about having this migraine. And indeed, I'm here today, migraine happy, joyous, and migraine free.
Beautiful. Why don't we share the funniest thing for the funniest thing segment at the end? And let's get Noel Bax.
Yeah, what was the
Daily
funniest
Word
thing?
segment? It's about Shock the Monkey.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Noel Bax.
Hi, guys. How are you? Great to see you.
Dude, likewise.
It's been so long.
All of several days since we shared a burger.
I know it. I love it. It was a great day. I really appreciate you guys for that.
Oh, that was awesome.
So you want me to start reading?
Let's get into it.
Wait,
Why
do
not?
you subscribe to the Daily Word?
Yeah, I subscribe to the Daily Word. I have the hard copy right here. Good thing because you didn't email me it.
Yeah. Oh
I got a good
man.
I got a good deal on it through your website. And I love this one. It's on curiosity. As I open to life, my good is limitless. Photographers look at subjects from many angles. They move right, left, up, and down. They crawl on the ground and climb onto objects to see things differently. These artists let their curiosity be their guide. They reveal life in unique and beautiful ways. I tap in my curiosity with the intention to explore new perspectives. When I prepare to meet someone or try a new activity, I approach the encounter with wonder. From the most routine situation to complex life choices, curiosity helps me find the best solution. I open my heart and mind to see beyond what I already know and expect. In this place of openness, my good is limitless. Who does great things beyond understanding and marvelous things without number? Job 9:10. So I liked it because I woke up this morning and I read it, and curiosity leaves you open to to different perspectives, but open to good. And so when you're, instead when I have this hard line thinking of this is how something's going to go, or if I have to talk to somebody or go to a certain situation and I already have a preconceived concept, I limit myself to anything good in my life, to any miracle,
Yes.
to any possibility, to all the possibilities. And when I go in there curiously and I'm looking around and I'm curious about what can happen, and I really liked what you said about letting God flow through you, because really all we're doing is allowing it. We're not doing anything, but when we have
Yes.
that idea and allow that to flow through us, then we can touch. You don't know who we touch, but we're in a good mood. People are in a good mood around you. Nobody understands it, but it's contagious. And
Yes.
you're adding to this ripple of life in a positive way. And sometimes nobody knows what not a lot of people know exactly what they want to do with this life, but if they can be of service and be positive towards others and add to this life flow, in a positive, loving, wonderful way, only good things can happen beyond kind of our wildest imagination.
So true.
You know what you reminded me of? Just this week, I wrote down in my little book, I can't be in control and expect good things to happen.
Yes.
Because it's that feeling of, I got to be, that means I'm ruling out the possibility of anything good happening. And that's why I feel the need to control. So when I start to feel myself start to put my mental hands around the steering wheel and clench, I go, no, no, no. And you're just like you're saying, let it go. Let it go.
Yeah, because I have that idea, like, say I got to go talk to somebody and this person I feel like already has, a preconceived notion. Like I already kind of know what he's going to say. But if I go in there with that control and that idea, then then that's just what's going to happen. But if I go in there with at least some curiosity, with some openness, with some allowing of God to, move through me and take care of the situation, one or two things are going to happen. It's going to happen the way it was going to happen anyways, or something magical and, miracle-like and God-like could, possibly flow through there. And even now that I'm thinking about it, maybe it doesn't work out in that situation, but since we were open and curious to the possibility of God taking control, it plants some kind of seed, and we don't see it right away, but it grows into something greater later.
Yes. Plus, it reminds me of, for one, if it does go the way we thought it was, we're gonna be like, I hear like Bruce Lee quoted that we should be like water, like flowing around things, and it's really helped me to see. I heard it said recently that our brain is designed to receive inspiration, but not perceive how it's going to happen. So we receive it, but we're not even capable of perceiving how that good is going to happen. So we must remain flexible and flowing and free, just because that's the way God is flowing through life. And in order for us to have the experience of the inspiration that we receive, this is why it's like the real humility, to be able to say, look, I really don't have any idea and I can't, and that's great. I don't need to. That is so liberating and free. And that's why I love the show. That's why I love talking to you guys. It helps me just put down the crap that I have to, hurl the crap over the fence, which we had another episode called Hurl Your Crap Over the Fence. Just hurl it over the fence and acknowledge we don't know what's going to happen, but we know something wonderful is going to happen if we can when we get into that state of mind.
Yeah. It helps me open when I start thinking that, reminding myself that God's in charge, that God's a loving God, and that if that desire was put in me, I don't need to know how that desire is going to be accomplished. I can just enjoy that I know this desire is going to be made manifest in some wonderful way. I have
my
no
God.
idea how. And
It's
my
amazing.
only responsibility is to just do the simple things that are in front of me to do today, that are mine to do. You know,
Yes.
yeah, I'm talking about all the take out the trash, walk the
Yeah.
dogs, show up for my job. You know, because
Yes.
we don't know who the golden link is to the, because all it
right.
takes is one person, one call, one situation.
Yes.
If we're open like this, but we have to be willing to show up to these
Yes.
things that we start thinking are routine. That's not humble.
Yes.
Humbly means, sure, God, I'm going to stick to my routine. And I
Yeah.
know you have some wonderful way, some
Right.
wonderful surprise you're going to
right.
throw into my life that I'm going to be calling Ed going, funniest thing, you're not going to believe it.
Because we're happier, healthier, and better off when we do. So we benefit in every possible way. Because when I used to cringe and hide in my bed because this isn't right for me, blah, 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 that was terrible. I felt terrible, and nothing good could get in because I was, hiding. So it's so much better just dummy down, one foot in front of the other, get on the plane, whatever it is, go meet your buddy, go to work, bless everyone you meet. It's awesome.
Yes, belief magnetizes, enthusiasm magnetizes.
That's true. That's the other part about being negative and going like judging someone and saying this is the way it's going to go. That's the quickest way to magnetize that situation and that person right into your life.
Yeah,
Right.
because
It's
now
amazing. They'll
oh.
stay there.
Well, I've learned a little bit, this past year trying to transform myself, and a buddy of mine told me, he's like, Noel, you just got to put one foot in front of the other. God does the transforming. You got to live by
Yes.
these spiritual principles, live by this altruistic way of not expecting anything in return, going and again, chopping wood, carrying water, and letting God do the transforming. And when I kind of really did accept that, it was freeing. And secondly, I got a crazy email from a guy I met 5 years ago. Who was opening a restaurant in Malibu, and he wants me to be the manager, and I'm the reason why he's opening a restaurant in Malibu.
Wow.
And just because back then I was treating him real nice and I was real happy with him, and it was in the morning and I wasn't expecting anything out of the deal, but I just greeted him really friendly like. And he remembered me 5 years later. But it was crazy at that point, when I started to let go, absolutely take everything off, take all my hands off the wheels and let, God take control, then more things start to flow in. And then in my head, it still was like, oh, maybe I don't want to go to Malibu and this, that. No, okay, just put one foot in front of the other, go see what this guy's all about. It turns out to be a great thing. And so, it just more or less, cements this idea.
That's
the
it.
perfect example.
That is
Yeah.
perfect. And then the willingness to accept the gift.
Yes.
Because it's funny, I'll want something, and then it comes in some strange, unexpected way, and it's in my lap, and now I'm like, do I really want this? And I'll start trying to talk myself out of it, and you know what? Now I just keep moving my body in that direction.
All right.
And then I'm grateful that I ended up showing up for all of it.
Yeah.
All right, Noel Bax. Well, thanks for showing up for the show today and sharing and reading the Daily Word. We love you. Where's your NFL podcast, man? Where can you find that?
Oh, you can find it. It's called the Gridiron Wake Up Call on iTunes, or you can find
Great.
it on Podomatic, or you can go on Twitter and find us at Gridiron Wake Up
Because
Call.
we have all kinds of fans. If you love football, check that out. All right, coming up after the break, we'll have a joke of the day, listener mailbag, and more. So thank you for listening to Funniest Thing on Unity Online Radio.
This one is called The Pan.
Yeah, that was great, dude.
That was great. I've been speaking at meetings, and I'm like, God, just talk through me. And I gave a little one of those because I don't know what the hell's going to go.
Well, we don't either.
It's a quick break.
What do you
What do you
say?
say?
Quick break.
All right. Dude, I just found a great reading that I got to read.
Okay.
It's a short paragraph, and then we got that Butterworth paragraph, too. It'll be 2 paragraphs for the
Do you have Butterworth? I got Butterworth.
Do you want to read that one? Then I'll read I'll read this one, and then you read that one, because that one's so good.
I got Butterworth here.
Okay, good. And you have the paragraph, right? That one? The
Yep.
last paragraph? Yeah, and I'll read this, and then you read that. We'll come in, we'll do those 2 paragraphs, and then we'll do the joke of the day. Remember, you're going to be the voice of the woman.
Yes. The old lady or the neighbor?
I'm sorry, the old lady. I'll be the friend who looked out the door.
Okay.
And then we got a I'm gonna read our mail from Bennett, and you're gonna read Samborski.
Oh yes.
And we'll tell the shock the monkey funniest thing,
Yes.
and then we got the little song, and that's it.
Yeah.
Dude, Noel Bax, dude, we love you, man.
Now
Love you
return
guys.
I'll see you
Take care.
soon.
See you later.
Peace.
Bye. See you soon. Bye.
Daryl and Ed, the best looking guys on the radio.
Welcome back. We're here. Thanks for sticking around. You made it to the third segment. That little ploop sound was our guest Noel Bax just disappearing. And today's episode is Let's Go to a Wide Shot.
That's right. If you're listening online, you can check us out on YouTube. Go to DarylAndEd.com. You can hear everything that we're doing. You can get all the readings from today's show actually on the show script page. You can see a picture of Jeff Comfort and Gabby the Postal Pitbull and Mr. French, the station manager. It's all there at DarylAndEd.com. And so we'll go into the inspired readings for our third segment.
Yeah.
I just happened to... I didn't even plan this one. It's from a book called Peace Within Yourself by Joseph Murphy. I had another paragraph, but I just found this one is highlighted with a bookmark in it. And it says, "Here is how you may enter the womb of God and be reborn," which is what we're talking about here. "Get still and quiet by relaxing the mind and body. Detach yourself from the old way of thinking and form a new concept or estimate of yourself. Imagine and feel the reality of the new ideal. Live with it, envelop it in love, woo it. Then the ideal will be resurrected in you and you will become a changed man."
Oh my God. I got to tell you this real quick.
Go ahead.
Going along with that exact reading,
Yeah.
Lori, my wife, who we know is an animal photographer, pet photographer for Best
An
Friend.
enthusiast.
Yes, she had one of two things to photograph on Monday. It was either going to be cats or dogs. If
Yeah.
it was cats, it's been extremely humid here. It was going to have to be in the cat kennel, which is extremely hot.
Okay.
If it was dogs, it was going to be in her air-conditioned studio, which is heaven.
Yeah.
So she started to go, oh, if I cats, and she started worrying about if she had to shoot cats. And,
Okay.
and I said, well, why? And she goes, well, if that's the only volunteer that shows up, and I remembered what I've been using, which is instead of worrying about what I don't want,
Yes.
start thinking about what I do want. And I
Yes.
told her, I said, why don't you start thinking about how much fun it's going to be shooting the dogs. And before she had a chance to make a rebuttal, and I said, and isn't it funny how our mind starts to think, yeah, but, it'll probably be the cats. I said, because it's funny how our mind wants to think the probability of something negative is more realistic. And she started laughing. She goes, you're right. So she started thinking about what she wanted. She called me from work, and guess what? The volunteers for the dogs were the ones who showed up. The volunteers to help with the cats weren't in that day. And it was so wonderful. This stuff really works.
Yeah, spirituality used to be, for me, how to deal with suffering. But the real meaning of this stuff is how to actually align with the joyful experiences, of which are the ones I'm really supposed to be having anyway. I love the fact that was the best example, what you just shared. I totally hear what you're saying, because that's what this trip has been. It's either going to be one way or the other. And it's so funny. I like that word curiosity, because I just have to be curious enough to explore some new thoughts, a new way of thinking that I'm not used to. But man, does it reap rewards.
And one more thing, Ed, because people may still be thinking, yeah, but what? Like, how do you know that's God's will? I'll tell you how I know. Because God wants us to be comfortable. He knows we can do our best work when I'm feeling good, when I'm not. It'd be insane that I would think that God would rather, if I was in Lori's shoes, rather have me uncomfortable, sweating, miserable, and struggling to do my job.
That's right.
Or wouldn't he rather, he wants the job to be a success. He wants everything to be in harmony.
Yes.
And you know what?
Healthy, happy workers.
Yes. And on the day that it's cooler, I guarantee you that's when the interns help, the assistants come for the cats.
It'll be good for everyone. All right, let's hear that other reading from Spiritual Economics by Eric Butterworth. We love this paragraph. We talk about it quite a bit.
Yeah, it says, keep alive the commitment to the view from the top. Keep centered in the feeling of thanksgiving. It is not just to be grateful for loving friends, for an affluence of wonderful things, and for divine order in everything that happens in your life. It is so much more. You are grateful from the root of reality that is evidenced by these things. Your thanksgiving is more than a response to what is happening around you or to you. It is a celebration of truth, which becomes a casual assurance of a continuity of blessings leading toward prosperity for you. And praise always precedes the demonstration. Yeah. Thanksgiving, doing a gratitude list, like our famous quote from Plato that I always bring up. A grateful mind is a great mind, attracting great things to itself.
Even I played with a lot of Plato. I never saw that written.
It was on the back of the container, written in small print.
You were talking about cats. Did you hear about this old lady who was using a weed whacker?
Oh, it was on the news. That was terrible.
Yeah. Her cat was hiding in the bushes, and she accidentally cut off her tail. The woman scooped up the cat and its severed tail and yelled,
"Help! Someone bring me to Walmart right away!"
Her friend looked out her door and said, "Walmart? Why do you want to go there?" And the old lady replied,
"Well, they say that Walmart is one of the nation's biggest retailers."
Retailers. Retailers.
Why did all of a sudden I get marshmallows in my mouth? Here comes Gabby. Gabby, the postal pit bull. What do you have for us?
Read the special piece of mail that came from our station manager.
Oh, here it is. Wow. This is from Jeremiah Zamborski, station manager at Unity Online Radio.
What did he say?
He said, "Hey guys, hope you had a great weekend." An operator from Unity's Message of Hope contacted me this morning asking if I could put you guys in contact with Chico Ogledo. I think that's how you pronounce it. Chico is a big fan of The Funniest Thing and has called Message of Hope several times a week, sometimes in a day, to ask questions.
Wonderful. Can you tell the people what Message of Hope is? In case they don't
Yeah.
know?
Unity's Message of Hope, which I never knew existed till we got this email, is a outreach from Unity, and it's for people, if you're struggling with anything, please feel free to call them, and we're really happy that fans like Chico have found Message of Hope to help, them with whatever their situation is that they may be struggling with at the moment.
That's right. So thank you, Chico. And we just got another piece of mail from our website where you can contact us from Bennett Tanton, who Daryl just happened to be contacting about being on our show. What's the date he's coming on?
Wait, this is insane. Yeah. Yesterday, I contacted and I go, "Ed, how about having Bennett, this fellow I know from the military, Bennett on? He loves our show. He shares
Warrior Hall, right?
Warrior Hall, that's right. That's his organization."
Yeah.
And he shared our show on their Facebook page and talks us up a lot. So I said, we should have him on. And I had this conversation with Ed just yesterday.
Right. And when was this? Today this came in?
Yes.
This morning or this afternoon this came in from Bennett. Right after we talked about him, it says, "Love the show, guys. Finally have listened to all of them from beginning to end. Now I can start listening every Wednesday. But I'm going to miss listening to 4 or 5 episodes a week. Be well, gentlemen." And that is from Bennett Tanton. And that you go to Facebook, Warrior Hall.
Yes.
Is the name of the page.
Yes.
We're going to tell a quick funniest thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, so Bennett, if you're a fan and you want to hear all of Bennett's story and listen to him discuss and read the Daily Word, he will be with us on August 26th.
August 26th. I cannot wait. We have the best guests because, man, I feel so good after these shows.
Oh, me too.
And I learned so much from the things they share. If you want to share on the show, go to darylanded.com and contact us on the where is it? At the contact?
There's a contact button. There's it's so easy to get in touch with us to the website.
We want to hear from you. We want you on the show. Okay, we're at our favorite coffee shop, and our favorite barista, one of our favorite baristas, Shock the Monkey. He's named after his beautiful brown shock of hair.
It's black, but it's conservatory in downtown Culver City.
Yeah. He gave Daryl and I Peter Gabriel-based names. Daryl is Big Time, and I'm Red Rain.
And he shot the monkey.
And all this time, we just found out that his mother used to be the person, for 10 years, was the person who made sure there was no spelling errors or anything in the Daily Word.
Proofreader for the Daily Word.
And he grew up golfing and stuff at Unity Village. It was insane.
What's the town right near Unity Village? And I forgot the name of it. But we've been friends with him for months and months. And we had no idea until this conversation came up. And it was like, oh my God, funniest thing.
When this stuff happens,
you
know, it makes me so grateful because...
Well, I was going to say, we live in grace, which means we always reap more than we sow. And you know what? You know I'm all about that grace, about that grace. No trouble. About that grace, about that grace. No trouble. All about that grace, about that grace. No trouble. All about that grace.
About that grace. Grace. You have to read, or you just...
You have to hum it. You have to hum the bit. Thanks for...
Thank you, Linda Hart, for inspiring our today's song.
That's true.
About that grace.
And visit DarylAndEd.com to find easy links to everything we do and talked about on today's show. You could also find the Funniest Thing podcast on iTunes, our YouTube page, our Twitter feed, and even the Funniest Thing Facebook feed is on our website, so you don't even have to be a Facebook user to see what we're posting on Facebook every day. And as always, thank you for being a part of Funniest Thing with Daryl and Ed on Unity Online Radio.
All about that grace. About that grace. No trouble, said we're all about that grace. About that grace. No trouble, said we're all about that grace. About that grace. No trouble, said we're all about that grace. All about that grace. Yeah! Monkey.
Ed's eating a banana.
Banana. Oh, God.